Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, this is Jay Jabarelli of Jabarelli.com, just a bunch of referral links, and here we are in my shop. I wanted to kind of give everybody a tour. This is what I've been doing for the last month. If you were wondering, probably where is Jake? What has he been doing? Well, this is what he's been doing. So I started out with a plan, and then I discovered a lot of things along the way. I had a lot of hardware already, but a lot of these things I bought recently, and I kind of want to go through kind of just what's here. I got myself internet there just a couple days ago because I was borrowing it from, I think it was from Xfinity, and that wasn't working. Trying to snipe the Xfinity just did not work out. So got my own internet, little DSL connection here. That's connected into an old WAN router I have right here, this little black box, which is connected to this little AP thing here. All this stuff relatively expensive. I just had it for years. Put in my little Google box just because I want music in the room. Got a monitor. My wife has an old TV that she has. Got a couple of HDMI ports on it. It's really easy to use. That was very helpful to me to be able to get, to be able to see the miners that are over there. Put my finger. I bought this from some guys, really cheap. Dyson fans are not cheap, but I got that one for a good deal. So that computer is monitoring. This computer is running other stuff. I got an old L3 miner here, which is literally no better than a paperweight, and then the other ones down there. When I bought these things, I bought them for 10 grand, and I got my money's worth, but the 800 watts will not get you enough coin to pay off that thing anymore. So these are paperweights. As you can see in my fan assembly here, I have the L3 miner sitting down in there as a paperweight or as a weight to keep the fan from falling over. And as you can also see here, I've got the plastic up here. This room is really tiny, and that's where the air goes out, and here's where the air comes in, and I'm still working this out, so that's a work in progress. But let's go over and look at the miners. So, move this out of the way, over to the right, and here we are. So, what do I have? Well, my one and only customer has, here's 8 here, and then there's another 8 down there, and I kind of want to go through like my process. Where did this come from? How did it start? What is going on? All these cards came from me. I didn't buy these cards. These are someone else's cards. I bought the motherboards. I bought the rack. I bought the power supplies. I bought all the risers. So all the hardware that's not the actual cards is mine. But the cards belong to my customer. Now I'm making coin for him. But he also pays me a little bit just because, you know, it costs money to do this. So initially I had this stuff just sitting on the ground. And I realized that was really dumb, because when you need to get into something, you need to move something, it's nice to have this wheeled cart. And I can adjust the height of the platforms to whatever level I want. I know a lot of people buy these, you know, the massive racks, they're like, you know, 4 tall. But one thing I realized is, well, I'm able to get my hands in there in order to manipulate these points. Now, if I put this thing way down here so that there's no room at all, yeah, the cards stand up really easily, but they're really, really hard to manipulate. If you ever want to take a card out, unscrew it, whatever you want to do, that's a pain in the butt. So I know other people have done different ways where they just use these shelves and then hang the cards from the shelf. But the problem with hanging a card, at least in my experience, and I did try that, is that you have to keep replacing things. You got to keep putting things in, putting things out. For me, this frame, which was really inexpensive, it was like 25 bucks for this whole 8-card frame. And it was really easy to assemble, very simple to do. I actually really like it. I'm going to buy more of them in the future. Made it just so much easier to put the cards on. And you're probably wondering why I don't have fans at the end. Well, they're my fans. I don't need those fans. In any case, what I'm basically trying to get at is I also have here these little KMC 4-port that are switchable. They have it's a Wi-Fi connected device, and that gives me 3 switchable ports, which I can control and see the power for. I actually should probably show you. I'll get to that later. So I got one there. I got another one down there. So in the middle down there, there's a plug here that goes to the fans. So these fans are plugged into the middle port there, and then the fan that's in the ceiling up here is plugged into the middle port here on this socket. And then these are what's it called? Asus B250 mining expert boards. This one has dual 4 gig or 8 gig total, and this one has dual 8 gig or 16 gig total. The difference is This is a Celeron processor, and that has an i7. Just because I just had a spare i7, Core i7 left over, so that processor is a lot more powerful. Unnecessarily, a Celeron will work fine. You don't really need that much. Another lesson learned. When you go for power supplies, don't go for 1600 watt. I thought 1600 watt would be perfect because then it could just supply everything. No, it's easier, and in my opinion better, to go with 800 watt or 850. These are 850s. They're really nice. These Thermaltake 850 watt were like 130 bucks a piece. They have one 1600 watt and one 500 watt down here, which is probably overkill. But the 1600 watt only had 12 of these PCIe connectors on it. Technically, that's enough for 8. But I mean, you can see I'm not plugged into both. I'm only using the 8 pin, not the 6 and the 8 pin, because you don't really need it, especially when you're going to be undervolting and overclocking. And then I'll talk to that in a second. But the you can see I have this daisy chain here from just this one port. Now, these boxes, these power supplies, only come with 3 PCIs, but they're doubles, right? They're 2 8 pins on each. I have my hand up here. There's 2 of these, so technically I could do 8 cards on the one power supply because I'm only using one of the ports. But what I would say about this is that it only comes with those 3, even though they're technically 4 ports. So if you want to do 4, you have to buy the extra 1. It only comes with 3. So I have 4 on this power supply, and these 4 on that power supply, right there. And another thing I want to say about this is this mining rig, this frame, mining frame, not rig, came with this really slick little thing here, and I found them on Alibaba or AliExpress. It's just this super thin film. There's this very thin button. It's paper thin. It's so amazing. You can get it for like 20 cents. And so even though I have a pretty decent, it's over here actually. Let's see, sorry about the wind noise. This is my power on button for this rig. But this thing was like $8. When the guys sold me this frame, they gave me this little power on button here. And I can see why. 20 cents a pop. Oh man, it's a lifesaver. I would so promote that thing if I could resell them. Anyways, 20 cents on AliExpress for those things. And you can buy them in bulk, buy 100 of them for what, 20 bucks or something? So yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it's sticky, so you can stick it to any surface. Oh, love that. I know that's so niche, I guess, in this whole concept here, but I just wanted to make a point about how cool that little power button is, because when you got the whole motherboard set up and you don't have that power button, because you're not putting it in a case, you need that power button. Oh, there it is. So in any case, this is the setup. We've got the one up here. This is mining rig 2, mining rig 1. I used to like this Open Titan, but it's like 70 bucks now. When I bought it, it was like 30. They jacked the price way up. So, and then I want to make a point about these risers. These are mint cell risers, and the mint cell risers have all the ports on them. So let me get down here and show you what I'm talking about. They have this, they come with this cord, which is great, but they also have the 6 pin. So if you want to run it off of your PCIe, you can. Now, in this case, I can't because I'm running it, 2 cards. But I've got these other pins, so it works fine. I usually only do 2 per block, but I mean, you could probably do more. It just depends on the power usage. But these have multiple inputs. You can see they have the Molex connector there, and further back the SATA connector, and then they have the 6-pin connector and all these cards. And they're hella cheap. Every single one of these risers is like $250 a piece. That is so inexpensive. Now, I would say that in the future I would get longer USB cables, but in this case, with this particular frame, I don't need longer USB cables. It's really amazing. If they all fit, I could put more on here. I could easily do it like one below or one above. But yeah, make sure you consider how long your USB cables are, because the ones that come with these mint cells are really short, and so it's not really practical if everything's really spread out. So I did build this wrong. This should have been upside down, but whatever. So I don't recommend the Titan, the Open Titan case. It was cheap. They're not anymore. This one was a Chinese build. It was like 30 bucks. Really good deal in my opinion. So that's the setup there. I've got power going up to the fan of the ceiling as a note. And yeah, this took me about a month to really get the bugs worked out to the point where I knew what I was doing. Anyways, and then I'm trying to, as you can see here, set up plastic, like this big old roll of plastic I bought off of some random website. It does drying stuff. Like when you ruin your walls, you got to do drying. Well, this roll of plastic is actually for tubing. It's plastic tubing, what they call lay flat tubing. You roll it out, and in this case, you just cut the tubing open, so now it's just one sheet. And I have this all blocked off so the air comes down and goes in here primarily. Oh, let me close this off. But I need the air to go toward the miners from inletting the air or from the air conditioning unit up here. And at some point, I'm going to face all this. I'm going to cover this right here with another a sheet of plastic that hangs from the ceiling right down over this. The air only goes in here and goes to the miner and then goes out through that hole in the ceiling there. And right now, that's not how it's working. I mean, it's kind of working, but it's not working ideally. I know some people have said this to me in the past, hey, why don't you use fans? I've already bought fans, I just haven't installed them. In fact, there are some fans. I don't know if you guys saw that in the video earlier. At the back there you can kind of see them at the very back. There's 3 high power fans. I'm just not using them right now. But I've come to the realization that even though this method with this giant box fan, it does work, it doesn't work nearly as well as actually just having fans on the units themselves. So here's the overview. I'll make another video shortly. Just want to give everybody an idea. This is what I'm doing, and that's why I haven't been making videos.